Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Who Asked Me podcast. I am your host, Dizelle, and I'm here today with one of my faves. We text all the time, but we rarely get to record together. Hannah Aaron Brown.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me, Zell. I'm thrilled to be here. To take it from the group chat to the mic is such a gift.
I love it. You know, me, I just love my group chats. I love being able to text. And it's so funny. I will say this, when I first started my podcast back in the day, two people that I always wanted to record with were Raven and you. I was like, oh my God, I would like love if I would
I'm
get to record with them.
honored.
Yeah. So, and now I'm in a group chat with y'all.
And now we text.
And
It's honestly such a safe space because like there is nothing too bitchy for that group chat. And
no.
like I say that with love and light. But here's the thing. I think bitchiness, okay, I think bitchiness like should be celebrated more. And like I think that's you, me, and Raven all believe that. And I think that's why we're all friends. But also I saw, but like we're still nice people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I saw a TikTok the other day where this girl, it had like 3 likes, and I was like, how did I get here? Am I lost? Like, what's going on? And it was this girl in her car being like, if you gossip, that says more about you than the person
Oh,
you're gossiping about.
okay. I don't
Like,
give a
that is a,
fuck.
I
I
literally
don't
was
give a
like,
fuck. I don't
normally it's like,
fucking care.
I know. And she's like, get a hobby.
Can
And
I
I was
tell
like,
you?
go ahead.
Oh my God, I thought my mic just went out. Um, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. I have one friend who truly does not gossip, and she's just like a sweet baby angel on
Okay.
earth.
Hmm.
She is like the only exception. And it's not that she doesn't gossip, like I don't know how to explain it except for that she's an angel and she really
Hmm.
does see the good in people. And she was rarely on social media. Like she is not up to hip. We joke all the time
Oh,
about how she's a grandma, but she will absolutely like when there's a story to be told about like one of her friends' lives or anything like that, she absolutely wants to hear it. She's like invested. But if it's other people, she's just like, oh, I don't care about them. Like
but she
we
doesn't make you feel bad,
no,
right?
no, no,
If
no,
you're
no, no, no.
bitchy, that's
No,
the
if
difference.
I tell her something, like we used to work together, if I tell her something about somebody, she's like, interesting. But then it's just like
Hmm.
there, you know what I mean? She does not like do the digging. She doesn't like do anything. And my tide has turned as a gossiper, as somebody who talks shit.
Hmm.
I don't get mad when at this point I don't get mad when people talk shit about me. Like I know it sounds like people are gonna be like, well, who are you? But like in my circle, okay,
Yeah.
in my circle, in the community that I'm in within St. Louis, when I said that I was getting divorced, when all of that started happening, people were texting me left and right being like, girl, I just ran into so and so and they told me that y'all are getting divorced because XYZ. And I'd be like, that's not true. But okay, like that you brought it to the source. You asked me. I told you
Hmm.
that's not true. I got on my podcast. I said that so many people were like, "Girl, I was wondering what happened." And I'm actually thank you to you for just like putting it all out there because like
Hello.
I don't have a huge platform. I'm not a celebrity, but I do recognize that like people I'm going to give the people what they want. I
Hello.
hate to
We're
say it like that, but
engaged.
like yeah, I'm like yeah, this is like it's like, you know, cathartic for me. Like I was just like, okay, whatever. So gossip and like my thing is if you're going to gossip and then be mad when something happens in your life and then people are like, wait a minute, what? No, you can't do that.
No. And I'm like, I'm sure people talk shit about me. Sometimes I'll see like posts of mine that have been like shared a couple times
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm like, I know someone was sharing that just to be a dickhead about me, but guess what? Out of sight, out of mind. I don't said and I don't really give a fuck. What bothers me is when people on the internet are in the comments section and like it's like like a finger in the air emoji, like,
Yeah.
well, actually, you're contradicting your point. It's like, shut up, you don't even know me, you're being annoying, and like I just start blocking people willy-nilly. But that's a different conversation entirely.
Oh yeah, but in like there's nuance. Nuance exists all the time and like in this
Always.
space, oh my God, you already know because you used to be in it more heavily in this space of commentating on reality TV.
Oh,
And I hate the word nuance, I really fucking do, but I'm just like, yeah, I find Sutton very annoying. I do. But at the same time, watching these women incessantly like pile onto her as if they have never taken low blows and done anything like this, it's
hello.
weird. Yeah, it's
It is
weird.
weird.
Like That's fine. It's no sweat off my back. I actually don't fucking know these broads and I don't care. Like when I turn, this is for entertainment purpose only. Sometime and I'm so shocked. I told you, I texted you, and that's why I'm so happy I have like the spaces like you, Raven, Kendrick, because
So
when people
safe.
were coming at me on threads about not like remembering that Mauricio was Mexican, I felt crazy. I was like, I didn't think this was going to be that big of a deal because I said I didn't remember. I did not retain that information. I didn't say, oh, they made up that he's Mexican. I didn't say that they never said that before. I literally admitted
You just said I
I
didn't
didn't
remember.
remember that.
But then people were like projecting meaning onto your statement. And I'm like, I would argue that's
Oh
racist,
yeah,
is
the
what you're
problem.
projecting onto the word Mexican and what you're
Yes.
insinuating about Mauricio being Mexican. That's on you guys. Like
Yeah. Oh my
you,
God.
Zell, didn't say anything out of pocket. And I was really pissed for you.
I said I didn't remember.
You literally said you didn't remember.
I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, what? Like, and it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, bitch, like the people can never handle the actual thoughts going on in your brain.
No.
Because if that was too much for them, whew,
But
whew.
also, I'm like, wouldn't it be boring if, like, it would be boring to watch these shows and have a bunch of nice people who don't piss us off sometimes. And it would be boring of us as content creators to not have a strong opinion about them. So it's like,
Hmm.
I'm not interested in listening to a podcast or like watching a YouTube channel where someone's like, and this person's nice and everything's great and blah, 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 blah. It's like, what's entertaining about that? We need to have opinions in
Yeah.
order to create content. So if you don't like my opinion, that's fine. But to get in my comments and be like, you're a bad person, I'm like, well, I go to bed with my own thoughts every night and I don't think I'm a bad person. So fuck off.
Well, and you know what? We'll get into I almost led into our next conversation,
Mhm.
but I want to touch on something in
Yeah.
pop culture that
Yeah.
I am absolutely sick of hearing, and it kind of does loop into this. Hannah, I've hit my limit with
Mhm.
it ends with us gate.
I'm
I
exhausted.
I am exhausted. I listened to all 5 parts. Shout out to the Bravo Docket girls. I listened to all 5 parts of their It Ends in Court where they broke down every
Wow.
single lawsuit that's happening, right? Because I really do want to understand. And I wanted to understand from people that were more neutral because well, I don't want to say almost. I remember when Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard was going on and
Mhm.
how, what's that girl's name? House and Habit or whatever,
Oh,
that
yeah.
lady, she
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
she kind of posed herself as like a new, when I first saw her I was like, okay, she's pretty neutral, blah blah blah, and then things got dark, things took a dark turn.
Was she the
And
one who by the end was like death to Amber?
yes,
Like
yes, and I was like,
crazy.
oh, and shout out to like one of my followers on Instagram. They messaged me because I had just heard of her, and they were like, hey girl, I think you might want to branch out and listen to someone else because
Okay, love that.
they clocked it very early with her. Shout out to them. I can't remember who you are. This is years ago. But yeah, I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw the dark turn, right? But I remember when the lawsuit dropped, when Blake Lively's lawsuit dropped, I am inclined to be on the side of the woman. I think me and you and me and a couple of my friends were like, okay, yeah, like Blake Lively definitely huge nepo baby, very annoying, acting questionable
Uh-huh.
at best. But that doesn't mean that she deserves to be assaulted and harassed at work.
Of course.
Like that's not what that means. So I was very much strong, and I still am strongly on that side. But after hearing all the things, after seeing Ryan Reynolds do the Ryan Reynolds thing, I'm
Hmm.
just like, all of the PR people that I follow online that said like this is a ego lawsuit on both ends.
Yeah.
That's where I lie now.
And yeah, and what's frustrating is like, yeah, I again, both things can be true. Like I do find oh my God, find Blake Lively, here we go, to be insanely insufferable and not good at acting. And I will stand on business with that. But no woman deserves to feel unsafe in the workplace or uncomfortable. And it really does suck that like if this is more of like a Ryan Reynolds versus Justin Baldoni thing, then it's so fucked up that she's caught in the crosshairs because like at the end of the day, it's two straight men with big egos, and
Hmm.
I'm not interested in it. And I think
No.
that is where, my new level of rage comes from and my new
Hmm.
level of exhaustion because I'm like, well, now that a woman's not involved, like, do I really give a fuck?
Right.
Well,
I
she is involved, but you know what I mean.
I also would say this. I did not. I didn't think anything of Blake Lively and Ryan's relationship before because if you don't know, like me and one of my friends had this conversation IRL. They like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds to the black community, like they are such like we always joke and say like people are black famous. They are very much so white famous to us. Like,
I
yes,
see
I knew
that.
who Blake Lively was from Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. That's like where my and that's mainly where I knew her
I'm
from.
like Age of Adeline. You're not
No,
missing much. Simple Favor.
I never watched Age of Adeline. Funny. After all this started, I literally was like, what are some Blake Lively movies besides Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants? And I saw Age of Adeline on Netflix. I fell asleep each and every single time I tried to
Bro,
watch that movie, and I was not in bed. I was not in bed. I was like,
you
this
were
isn't
standing
working.
up.
Yeah, I did watch A Simple Favor when it came on streaming like a while ago, and I was like, oh, that was interesting. But she's just not like that. She's not somebody who clocks. And I knew like they make fun of each other on Instagram, like they're that couple, and like, oh, I'm gonna flame you, you're gonna
Yes.
flame me. Okay, whatever, cool. They got married on a plantation. That's what we know about them, and she was very
Yep.
much so like, I stand by it until 2020. Whatever.
Convenient.
That's what I think of her. So
Yeah.
now I'm like looking at their relationship after hearing all of these things and going through all these things and watching the videos of him and Scarlett Johansson, the deep dives. Like I think Teffy did a deep dive, and then there's this other girl who does deep dives. She's Canadian. She's so fucking funny, but her name escapes me right now. And I was like, Ryan, are you? And that hurts me because I love the movie. Definitely, maybe I love that fucking
That's
movie.
a very underrated rom-com. It's a great movie.
Arguably, I don't like it because of him. I like it because
Hmm.
of the women in the movie. I
The
like
women are
this.
great.
I love the women in the movie, but yeah, I love that movie. But yeah, I was just like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. I was like, they hold power in Hollywood. Like, this is news to me.
I don't think I knew how much power they wielded because like I have always been a hater of them as a couple because I think it's deeply sinister when a celebrity couple or like even an individual celebrity like tries too hard to seem relatable.
Hmm.
Like it's a red flag for me. Or not even just relatable, like kind and nice. Where I'm like, if you
Uh-huh.
make your whole brand, like look at Ellen DeGeneres, like somebody who's like,
Yeah.
I'm nice, be kind. I'm like, it's like doth protest too much.
Hmm.
So like if a celebrity can be a little snarky, be a little sassy, I feel safer watching them. I'm like, okay, I get you. Like you seem like
Hmm.
a real human. And Blake and Ryan wanted so badly to be like, we're just like you, like me and the old ball and chain. Am I right?
Yeah.
That I was like, you're way too famous to be doing all of that. And it
Hmm.
just like gives me the ick and makes it all feel disingenuous. So then when all this started happening, I was like, none of this seems surprising to me.
Well, yeah, and even the text messages between her and Justin Baldoni, I don't know what to think of those. I'm very much so a person. I remember like not too long ago there was a conversation of like a text thread of people that were in like an office setting and everybody was like that's inappropriate and me and my service industry brain I was like what
Yeah.
where, I was like where do they work? I was like I literally was like where do they work? Because like and
Hmm.
even like I work at a bar, I run a bar. We had this conversation one time like about being behind the bar and how many of us are back there and having to scoot around people, and we often touch each other's shoulders. Like music is playing loud, we can't hear each other say behind. I'm not trying to catch a bow, so like we will touch each other's shoulders and backs, and like we have had the conversation before, like in an office setting, like touching someone's back, not in a sexy way, y'all, just being like, we put our
I'm
arm out.
here.
Yeah, tapping somebody's shoulder is probably would be like, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
Right. But in
But
hospitality, it's like a safety thing.
yes, I have like I literally my arms and everything are out often just to block anything, a door,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
an elbow, anything that might come my way. But when I read their text messages, I was like, or heard them, I was like, is this like a actor on actor thing to where this is, or is it I'm a little confused here because
Hmm.
and I think the girls over at the Bravo docket, they did a great job in being very neutral. I felt bad because they did say that they caught some slack. They were like, saying that people were like, why are you taking or Blake's side? And they're like, we are going through her lawsuit.
People are so fucking
And
annoying.
even I like that they kind of talked about it in a way that they would try it, like the PR lawsuit and everything. They were like, everything this lady put in here has nothing to do with this, nothing to do with this case. And this is really a case of public opinion that
Hmm.
unfortunately has been taken to the judicial level. And
Hmm.
that's what's about to drive me nuts because so many people are so gung ho on like being team Justin Baldoni, I feel, more than team Blake Lively instead of being like, because yes, it
Yeah.
is easier to hate the woman, right? Her,
Hmm.
who let her get that far without signing the motherfucking contracts is beyond me.
There's
They need to be
sometimes,
fired.
yeah, there's sometimes things that happen with celebrities. And like, I'm thinking about like Kendall Jenner's Pepsi commercial, like shit like that, where it's like, how many people did this go through? Like, how many of you are actually flops for even letting it get this far? Like, I
Yes.
don't understand. And I also think that is the problem with surrounding yourself with only yes people, which I could
Mm-hmm.
see Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds doing,
Yeah.
where it's like, there's no one who's going to push back and be like, I don't know about that business decision, or like, I'm not sure about this contract. Like, how did we literally like film a movie without all of that shit being in place? A high budget movie that like was literally based on like one of the biggest book talk book series of all time.
Hannah, I barely can let an employee work without, like, you don't let an employee work without
Please?
doing their tax information, you know what I mean? Filling out their W-2s
Yes.
and their I-9s. I cannot, I have to go over the handbook with people. Like, I had a job.
Literally during training.
I remember I had from my current job when I got a promotion, I got the job offer, even though I already worked there. I got the new job offer and I forgot to sign it. Like I literally forgot to sign it. And my HR girl was like, hey, boo, hey, you need to sign this. Like
Yeah.
before you do anything else, please do not forget to sign this. And I'm not an actress. I'm not, there's no contracts in there. It's just literally saying that I accept the position and I agree to my pay. That's all it's
Literally.
saying. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I when I promoted an assistant manager, like they were like, he needs to sign this. So who the fuck let her get that far without signing any of her contracts? And especially when that much money and that many people's jobs were
On the
involved.
line.
I just
Insanity.
I just the entertainment industry like really baffles me. Like I know you obviously, and then I have a
You and me
friend
both.
who works out there who works for a very big like production company, whatever. I can't talk about it, but she tells me stuff all the time, and I'm just like, the contracts are important in that industry.
So important. I even learned as a content creator, like I was supposed to work with a brand and then they like backed out, but it was like after I sent them deliverables and it was like
Hmm.
it got kind of messy. But it was also like what I didn't know because I don't have like a manager at this time. I didn't know that like I had to get a fully executed contract from them where it's
Mm,
like I signed it and they signed it to protect my ass so that I could get paid regardless of what they did with the assets. And that ended up being this whole back and forth thing. And it's like it sucks because it's like as Dum Dum Talon, and I'm speaking for myself, I didn't know what I didn't know.
yeah.
But it's like that's why there are managers and lawyers and people in place. And that's me as like a rinky dink micro creator. Like Blake Lively is so established. For what reason? I don't really know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, you know what? What I think of, I'm like, was that like her leverage on the people on her teams, like kind of leverage, like we're just like not gonna sign
We're
this
just gonna kick the
and
can.
yeah, keep on yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Keep on kicking the can down the road. And then now we're in this position now where they like kind of they're at our will and
Like,
mercy.
oops. Oopsies, we forgot.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like, interesting, interesting. I did find it interesting also when she says that she wrote a scene or something like that. And
Uh-huh.
then she then says actually Ryan wrote it and like the SAG people were getting involved. They were like, whoa, did he actually write this? Because that is
Mm-hmm.
we need to give the proper credit. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't know that, was that serious for just like a scene, but I love
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta give credit where credit's due.
yeah, love it. But yeah, I want them to settle out of court. Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't want to
Like,
hear about it.
no, I'm tapped out. Anybody still covering it, kudos to you, but it couldn't be me. Could not be me.
Agreed.
Um, let's turn into our next topic. So This past week was St. Patty's Day, as we all
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
My dear friend Hannah made some content
Hmm.
and that I stand 10 toes down behind. Calling Wes Wilson out because West, there was a video that went viral of these girls in Chicago dancing as people do in Chicago on St. Patty's Day. It's a huge deal there if you don't know. And I guess the girl said that they asked Wes to dance. He said, no, you're weird, and didn't want to dance with them. And it blew up. Everybody that, there was possibly some other things happening in that video, some
Hmm.
deliverables
Hmm.
happening. What was being delivered, we don't know, but it
We don't
definitely
know.
looked sketchy.
Hmm.
And Hannah, being a Chicagoan herself, made a video, and it reminds me of a video that I saw where somebody said, "We don't know how to take jokes anymore." Because when I saw Hannah's video, I was like, "This is a joke. That this is a joke, right?" What you said something. Tell the people what you said, please.
I literally just said, also, I'm a Sag rising, and I feel like I should mention that as well. So I'm no stranger to putting my foot in my mouth. But what I said was, like, oh my God, West Wilson, for you to turn these girls down at St. Patrick's Day, which is like the biggest drinking day of the year in Chicago, like, fuck you. That's egregious, like, fuckboy, arrogant behavior. You look like a leprechaun. I don't like your hair. You would not like you would get your ass kicked by Chicago boys at like a Chicago dive bar. You wouldn't last a fucking day, and like we don't want you and we don't claim you. It was something along those lines. And
Yes.
I did put Dropkick Murphys song under it because it was St. Patrick's Day themed. And
Yes.
did it make the video maybe seem more aggressive? Sure. But also like it was literally all in good fun. And like for people who don't know me, I a lot of my humor and my podcast is me getting worked up about like pretty innocuous shit. Like literally like I got worked up a couple weeks ago on my podcast about like animatronic dinosaurs at an abandoned theme park that I saw on TikTok. Like it's stupid shit,
No,
but people
literally.
are flaming me over it and
Yes.
like the pick me's are out in full
hmm
force.
Okay, so I want to tell you this. I didn't tell you this before we got on. So, as y'all know, I live in St. Louis. St. Louis and Chicago is 4 hours away, right? I have family up there. I have family all through the fucking like Illinois that you have to travel up to get to Chicago.
Hmm.
It is a big, like St. Patty's Day is a big deal. I have friends, we have literally planned to go to Chicago for St. Patty's Day. It is like a thing in the
Hmm.
Midwest. If you are traveling in any of those like surrounding areas, so like Iowa, St. Louis, Kansas City, it's like, oh, Chicago for St. Patty's Day, let's fucking go. It's like
Hmm.
Vegas for EDC. Sorry, we live in the Midwest. Okay.
Hmm.
So I have an employee who is from Chicago, and she roasts me all the time because I don't like Portillo's. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
And I just told her she's not really online, right? So I told her about the situation. And then I told her, before I even told her, I was like, there's this guy in reality TV. He was in Chicago for St. Patty's Day. These girls were just like dancing in the street, whatever, blah, blah. We're like, hey, come dance with us. And he replied, no, you're weird. Before I could even get to anything else, she goes, what the fuck's his problem? Does he know where he is? She literally was like, what the fuck is his problem? I was like, thank you. I was like, so then I go on to talk about your video. I was like, my friend who also is from Chicago, she understands like the lore of St. Patty's Day. This is what she said about him. I was like, she made a comment about Chicago guys that would kick his ass. She goes, I'm thinking about a couple right now that could kick his fucking ass. I'm like,
Hello.
thank you. It's just like a specific thing. I was like, well, then this other guy who is on the show with him, who is from the Chicago area,
Yeah.
chimed in. She was like, "Oh, shut the fuck up." She was like, "Shut the fuck up." She was like, "It's nice that you're trying to take up for your fucking buddy right now, but you know the truth. We know the fucking truth." I was like, "Thank you, girl," because I was like, people are like dragging my friend saying like she's mean and all of this. She's like, "No, I don't give a fuck." Like it was one of
Thank
those things
you.
in like in real life, right? That was a Chicago ass reaction, and it was also a joke. Have you ever said like, "Get the fuck out of here"? I'm not physically kicking somebody out, like
Come
when they
on.
tell us,
And
like, I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
I said the F. People are like, you said the F word a million times. I'm like, the F word. I said, fuck. Grow up. And also, it's like, I do think it's mean to call people weird, and we talked about this off
Yep.
the mic. But to me, like I am. Me and my friends are the girls who will act weird in public when we're drunk, and we think we're being funny, and we are being funny. And I think the fact of the matter is, he didn't want to fuck any of those girls.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if they looked like Lexi Wood or like whatever Instagram thought he deems attractive,
Mm-hmm.
with love and respect to Sierra, I don't put her in that category, but you know what I mean. Um, I think he would have reacted differently. And like,
Yeah.
I think it hit a nerve with me because I know what it feels like to be the girl who's being dismissed by some guy who thinks he's hot shit at a bar because I'm not hot enough or cool enough. And like, it pissed me off. I thought
Well,
it was rude.
yeah. So when I first saw the video before you even made your video, they said, like, he said, we asked him to dance. He said, no, you're weird. And what's killing me is when he came into your comments, well, I won't put anything else out there, but when he came into your comments, he
Mhm.
called them weird. He has called
Again,
them weird multiple fucking times. And the conversation of like, he has the right to not want to dance with anybody. Yes, he does. He literally could have said, oh, no, not right now. Thank you so much. Like for
have
watching the
fun.
show. Yeah, have fun. Not right now. Not right now. He called them weird.
That's
That
not
is not
nice.
nice. That's not nice. And then not only that, he continues to call them weird. And no one, except for us, has said anything about it.
I
Like,
know.
he's like, I don't want to dance with some weird girl. I don't want to dance with some weird girl.
Why are
Mind
they
you,
weird?
yeah, it is. It's a street part. Like it's a street party. I even down in St. Louis, like I went out for St. Patty's Day on Monday. Me and my friends were dancing. We were laughing our asses off because we were like, nobody dances anymore, and there are DJs on the street.
It's a goofy
Like there
holiday.
are DJs on the street and like no one dances anymore. Like what the fuck? People are dancing. It's not like they were dancing in the street, no music, and like you're just trying to walk by. We're at a
You're at a
bar.
crowded
People that
bar.
were like, oh, but what about when girls wanna when guys ask girls to dance and they say no? They usually just say no. I
And
don't
also,
know
we
who
live in a
turned you down. I
patriarchy.
don't know who
Yeah.
turned you down. I really don't. And it hurt your little soul so much. But also, he is a public figure.
Well, that's the other thing. And like, here's the thing. Obviously, I'm not trying to cause anyone like mental distress. I'm not trying to like ruin West Wilson's life. But the other thing too is it's like I am a consumer of the show and I'm a consumer of content. I'm making judgment calls. I'm commenting on things that I've seen on TV. What I've seen on TV recently is that you sat there and watched Sierra cry at the reunion after making her feel safe enough to get in her pants and then rejecting her. I've seen you talking about, fucking Hallie Batchelder and Brianna Chicken Fry on the other side of the Sierra stuff. I've seen you talking shit about Lindsay coming back to work because she had a
Hmm.
baby. And now I see you calling two random girls in Chicago weird. That doesn't give you any aura points for me. That makes me think that you're kind of a dick. Now, if
Exactly.
I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't have any other information about this man other than what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is what he is doing. I'm not putting a gun to his head and making him act that way publicly. He's doing it himself.
It's
So
very
I had an
self-serving.
opinion.
It's very self-serving how he comes. I'm not gonna lie, it pinched my fucking ass to see him and Jesse in your comments being like, he's just a nice guy, love and light everywhere, blah blah. And then in the next video, I see Brianna Chicken Fry being like, hey West, we're cool and everything, but it was not cool of you to tell people that we slept together.
Hello. And that's like
The
one of his
women are
closest
literally
friends.
saying the women are literally saying same thing with Lindsay. Like, well, I'm not gonna sit here and complain about niceness when West arguably does not do nice things, right?
Right.
Lindsay is a new mom, and it baffles me because everyone wants to stand up for moms until it's a woman that you don't like.
A hundred
Saying like,
percent.
oh, obviously she's not going to be back. She's with a baby. I'm not watching that baby. I don't think anybody wants you to watch that baby. It doesn't look like you wash your ass half the
Yep.
time. But also, the thing that's killing me really, really, really is I have seen that video of West talking about living in Hell's Kitchen and walking past drag queens, being at drag, like surrounded by drag and the gay community and the
Hmm.
trans community. And he's like, these people are just trying to live their lives and people are attacking them. I think that's great that those are the values he believes in. And I think it's great that he
Hmm.
has been in that environment in Hell's Kitchen and it does not bother him. That's bottom of the barrel. Thank you for not being ignorant towards people just trying to live their fucking lives.
Right.
That does not mean that you are a good person. That does not mean that like you're not a shit, you're not the bottom of the barrel shit person. Thank you. You're not a bigot, obviously,
Hmm.
but that doesn't mean that everything you do, everything you say is correct and handled properly. I know his mom, he uses these things to me that are very much like on paper, it's like, oh yeah, like this guy is it. For example, the Hell's Kitchen, living in Hell's Kitchen, standing up for the LGBTQIA plus community, his mom being an OBGYN, which actually has nothing to do with him. Has nothing to do with him.
100%.
That's
Like,
just his mom's occupation.
thanks to your mom. Love
Yes.
that.
and being left leaning that people are like, oh, West. But then when you listen to how women talk to him, Sierra, when he the way he acted when he was like, we haven't had sex yet, like duh. Okay. The way he literally sat there, watched her cry, then went to have a conversation or went to dinner with her offline, off screen, and then she goes, flies across the universe, and you're giving New York Times interviews
It's
to
not
it's all
nice.
self-serving. It's all self-serving. He's all about his image, which in reality, he's not doing anything that's we've seen guys on Bravo do way worse,
Of
right?
course.
Way worse. But the bar is in hell. The bar is
Ain't
in
that the
fucking hell.
truth?
And it just kills me to see the way that men are coddled and stood up for versus the Lindsays who have been on this show and yes, who have literally not have been afraid to be human. Even the Paiges, the Amandas, like all of the women, they've not been afraid to be human, right?
Right.
Some of them have been alternated, like my favorite, not my faves at the time, but
Of
they are still
course.
girlies. Okay. They are still human. And the things that they deal with and the way people talk about them is when they are just doing regular things, going through regular stuff, it pisses me off.
People are more mad at Paige for breaking up with Craig than they are at West for like any of these things. And maybe that's just my algorithm. Maybe I'm not seeing the West hate and I'm receiving a lot of the West love in my comments. So maybe that's just super like top of mind for me. But like it does seem like, and we live in a patriarchy and
Mm-hmm.
Bravo, there's a certain faction of Bravo fans who are women that are the worst pick me's in the
Mm-hmm.
world
Mm-hmm.
and like will go to bat for these like dudes doing shitty things. And yeah, in the grand scheme of Bravo, West is not the worst. I think I hope he's trying to like learn from his mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. Um, but it's like these women, I'm like, West wouldn't know if you got hit by a bus tomorrow. And
Mm-mm.
yet you're coming in my comments shitting on me. And it's probably the same woman being like, Paige wasted Craig's time. Paige never wanted to come to Charleston. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you need to get a fucking grip. I'm getting annoyed and I'm just blocking it all at this point.
Oh no, literally right before we got on here, I saw like the Southern Charm people are literally like crashing out over this Paige and Craig breakup.
Crashing out. Who
Their
cares?
after show, the way people I just I do not fucking understand how we can, and again, like you said, it's my algorithm. My algorithm is tailored towards me.
Yeah.
It is baffling to me. Shep made a comment, and I'm gonna just put a disclaimer up right now. That it was cut
Oh,
off what he said, but I honestly don't fucking care what he said. He made a comment about like get your ass to Charleston to with your boyfriend to
she ain't
film.
gone one trip with
Get
us.
he was like get your ass to film with your boyfriend. Something about a man saying any woman needs to get her ass to her man. I was sick. I was like, in the way he said it, you know, you've watched Southern Charm before. Shep has that dark side that when he gets angry, he really turns into like, I'm like, are you going? Are
He's
you?
scary.
Yeah, I'm like, are you okay?
Yeah. And
Like,
he's not.
are you okay? Like, I think about like when they were playing that stupid game in the yard and Taylor like dropped the egg or something. And he was like, "You're a fucking idiot." I'm like, we have
It's
to start.
not funny, but it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and he's one of those ones where I'm like, we have to start making fun of men. Like, you have to start making fun of them. Like, you have to start flaming the fuck out of them because my God,
Please.
right? But like,
Please.
the way Pat Altshaw, Patricia talking about her, like she never made an effort to come down here and be with his group. Some people don't want. She's like, she never made an effort to learn Charleston.
I
Your
don't want to learn
Charleston? I don't
Charleston.
think she wants to learn your Charleston,
Yeah, I'm like,
Patricia.
now, Nana, let's get you back to
She
bed. Like,
literally
I,
get ring the bell, roll her back
yeah,
into the mansion. That was probably a plantation. Anyways,
truly.
literally, I'm like, y'all are crashing out over this girl. Like they dated for 3 years. In the grand scheme of things of life, that's not. And then they called it quits. Also, Craig keeps getting caught lying.
Who would want
Like
to procreate and marry a compulsive liar?
he literally, Paige said, we broke up over Thanksgiving weekend. He said we did Thanksgiving, everything was fine.
It's weird.
Then I was like, mm,
And I would argue she like literally tried to make him look better by being like, it was mutual, blah, blah, blah.
She tried really hard. Even watching this season of Summer House, how this all goes down, she tried really, really fucking
Right?
hard. Paige is a good girlfriend. She's a good
Better
girlfriend.
than me. Damn.
Because yeah, the all of it, even like when you think back to Winter House, when he was like screaming at Amanda and she was crying and all of these things, all the way up till now, like she and I said it like in that episode where her and Kyle are yelling at the table and Amanda like chimes in, she goes, "No, Paige, like he said, Kyle said I would look into it and get back to you." And like that's just not how Craig phrased it. Like I saw a Paige in her face, she was like, "Fuck." Like
I know.
you literally, I am trying to stand up for you and
You
like
make it
you
impossible.
yeah. And like
Yeah.
she can listen to Amanda, that's her friend, right? Like it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, cool. Like I'm hearing you. I'm not hearing your fucking husband who's blowing up my text messages. I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, there's no debate that Paige is a good girlfriend to a fault. She protected him a lot,
Mm-hmm.
a lot. I would argue she owes a few people an apology
Mm-hmm.
through protecting him, but the girlie has learned her lesson, so I don't really care if those people are
Yeah.
fine with not getting apologies. That's fine, but it is just like listening to him. Apparently, he like what he would say about her going on tour. No, that was the other thing. Shep called Giggly Squad. He was like, "Your little talk show." I was like, "You are so
Shut
dark
the
spirited. You
fuck
are so
up.
dark. Like your insides dark,
Bitter.
nasty. Your little talk show is. I don't even like Hannah fucking Burner. I would kill for a 35 city tour. I would kill for
Me
a 5
too.
city tour. Somebody call
Me
me.
too.
But like, you are fucking kidding me. Your
And they
little
sold
talk
out like
show.
what didn't they sell at Madison Square Garden like twice or
They
like
sold out a
rock
couple of venues.
yeah, some
Yeah.
big ass venues. I'm like, Shep, literally what have you done lately aside from being a bloated, drunk, misogynistic fucking moron? Like literally harassing a girl who does not want to date you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, ooh, it really fills me with such blind rage. Something about like I've been known to piss off a straight man my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I make a
Same.
great first impression because I'm like, yeah, let's get a beer and I'll joke around. And then the second I feel a feeling and you piss me off, they're like, whoa, I thought you were chilling cool, but I guess
Yep.
you're not. And then like there's this part of my brain that the patriarchal, like internalized misogyny part that's like, oh no, like if a straight guy doesn't like me, I'm scared and I feel bad about myself. And then I take a deep breath and I talk to my friends like you, and then I go, no. You will not
No.
fucking gaslight me. I'm having a valid emotional response to your shitty straight man behavior. And if you don't like me, that's honestly a win. So if Shep ever hears this, fuck you.
No, literally same. I will never forget on my birthday, ironically last year, there was this person around St. Louis who like was liking negative comments about me. And I literally was
Mm,
like, what? Like, what happened there? Like, I was like, nothing happened
mhm,
there. Like, you work at a bar, I work at a bar. You've
mhm.
come into my bar, I've come into your bar. There was like one night that I was drunk. Yes, I was being super obnoxious, but was it enough to make you hate me? I don't think so.
Come on. Lighten
Actually, I don't
up.
even want to say super obnoxious. I made a joke that they did not find funny. Okay,
Well, we've
cool.
all been there.
Yeah, they did not find it funny, right? And it was clear that they were having a bad night at work. However, I will not go on to that. They were liking negative, really mean comments about me, and I was like, okay, this is a little far. And so we had a mutual friend, and I was like, what's their problem? Like I was like, they were in my bar getting mad at one of their friends, just started screaming. I made a joke like in the realm of like I've joked with them before. They went off on me and I was like, "Oh shit, okay, like whatever." And now they're liking these negative comments. Like what the fuck is their problem? And this motherfucker, the straight white male was like, "Some people could say the same about you. Like people don't know why you don't like them." I said, "That's not true. No, there is not a bitch walking this earth who I don't like who has no clue why I don't fucking like them." He's like, yeah, but like you just get like sometimes it seems like you're just fucking pissed off all the time and you don't know why. I said, and I say why. I was like, name a
Yeah.
time right now, like name a time when you
Name
don't know
them.
why I'm mad. Yeah, name them. And he was like, I don't really know why you're getting pissed off right now. I was like, listen to what you just fucking said to me. Listen to what you just fucking said to me. That like, and I was like, also, I don't go around liking negative comments about people that I know in real life that I don't like.
Period.
Like, I don't really like any negative comments about anybody except
I
for
don't have
like
enough hours in the day.
yeah, like except for like Tory Lanes and like Shep and Craig. Like I do, yeah, I like negative comments about them. Usually they're on my
Sure.
own fucking social media, so I got a notification about them.
Yeah.
But like I'm just that exactly, Hannah. I'm like, you You literally think the sun rises and sets on your way of thinking and your ass. So when you're met with something else, it's like, whoa, 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 what's wrong with you? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Not you. You're what's wrong with me.
That's the thing. And I think I was texting you about this. I think the guys on Summer House are so used to girls like
Mm-hmm.
Lexi, like
Mm-hmm.
throwing themselves at them and like giggling at them doing like the bare minimum. It's like, you know who actually acts, quote, weird in public when they're drunk? West and Jesse. Like they
Mm-hmm.
act like Tweedledee and Tweedledum publicly and privately, but they're used to being around girls who are like, oh my God, you're so quirky and funny. Like, oh my God.
Boys will
And
be
it's like,
boys.
boys will be boys. But then if a girl does it, she's weird. Or like West and Jesse can get like bent out of shape in my comments. But if I get bent out of shape initially for how he treated these random girls in Chicago, then I'm not chill. I'm not cool. I'm
Mm-hmm.
being a bitch. And I'm just like, the double standard is crazy. And this is what happens when straight men get
Yep.
rewarded for
Mm-hmm.
doing the bare
Fair
minimum.
enough.
Like it's so annoying.
Yes. And again, I just want to remind everybody the use of the word weird here is important.
It is
Like when
important.
that person was in your comments was like, girls say no to guys asking them to dance all the time. We say, no, I'm good. No,
Yeah,
thank you. Why? Because we're scared. Because
exactly.
it's about safety mostly, and well, in the fact that we don't want to dance. But it's just like, no, thanks. It
And if
wasn't
we
that.
say
He
no,
said,
we still
yeah,
get you're a bitch. Sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
It was no, you're weird. And he's continuing to call these girls weird because they asked him to dance,
I,
you know?
they're
And
like,
you know what? I would like to know what you were getting delivered, West.
I'm curious. Maybe he was giving you some, change because you ordered a pizza to the bar.
Yeah, maybe.
My
We'll go with
dumbass
that.
didn't even clock.
I
I
did.
was like,
That's the first thing I saw.
I literally was like, oh, he has a friend saying hello, like giving him a
Mm-mm.
cigarette or something. I didn't notice shit because
I
my brain doesn't really respectfully work that way because I'm a square at the end of the day, but I do piss off a straight man regardless.
I did. I'm not going to lie to you. Before I saw the girls dancing, before I read the text, before I even recognized that it was West, I
You
said,
clocked. You
I
clocked.
literally said, is that a little deal going on over there? Deal of what kind? I don't know. I don't know. But I was like, I literally was like, I bet I used to party. I used to party really hard. I used to work in clubs. I've seen
Seen
transactions
things.
of
Yeah.
that nature
Yeah.
possibly go down before. And then when it all started coming together for me, I was like, oh, I was like, that girl asked that guy to dance, and I was like, that's West. And I was like, so
Mhm.
much going on in this fucking video. Yeah, 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 yeah. But
Mhm.
that's all the time we have with Hannah today. Hannah, please tell the people where they can find you.
My gosh, thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. And I could yap with you all day. Y'all can follow me at Hannah Aaron Brown. Really anywhere, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Substack. It's HANNAHAARON
Love that.
BROWN. Aaron is spelled like a boy. Hannah Aaron Brown. And check out my podcast, Not Aspirational, wherever you get your pods.
And y'all already know where to find me over on Instagram, Who Asked Zell, TikTok, Who Asked Zell, Instagram podcast, Who Asked Me podcast.
Hell
And if
yeah.
you are watching this on YouTube here, please do not forget to subscribe, get the post notifications if you want, and please comment in the comment section if you have any thoughts, respectful ones, about anything that we discussed here today. Also, please
Hello.
do not forget to rate and review on Apple Podcasts. And again, be respectful. I will talk to y'all next week. And just a reminder, next week is my birthday. Bye.
Bye. Oh my God, that was so fun.